And now for something completely different. So guys, before we carry on with the video, just want to say that we're actually recording this entirely on my mobile phone. So it's going to be rather shaky and rather poorly lit. But anyway guys, enough of that rubbish. So, you join me in my kitchen, and today we're going to make some bread. Now, that doesn't seem that unusual guys, but it's going to be cheese and onion bread. Yeah, cheese and onion bread, which is probably not that unusual, but we're going to make it in the slow cooker. Oh yes, definitely in a slow cooker. You've heard right. So guys, I'm just going to flip the camera around so you can have a look at the ingredients, and I'll explain what we're going to be using and what we're going to be doing. So folks, there's the ingredients laid out in front of us. So what we've got here, so this is some onion that I fried off. So there's a couple of onions in there. So I've sort of lightly fried them, and you fry them as much or as little as you want, but I think it's best to fry them just to keep that rawness out of them. And there's I think there's a couple of small onions in there. So they've been fried off and then allowed to cool on some kitchen paper. So here is some cheese. So that is some nice strong cheddar. About a cupful, sort of 150 grams, couple of 100 grams. But again guys, it depends on how much cheese you like and how tasty it is. But that is some nice strong cheddar. Right, so that's some of the ingredients. Right, so at the back here, it's all a bit untidy. This is some easy bake bread making yeast. So we're going to use one of these, I can't even say it, sachets. Yeah, so we're going to use one of them. So I think that's a 7-gram sachet. So here is just going to have a little pinch of salt. Any salt you like, that's just a nice bit of sea salt, but just a little pinch of salt, but nothing too major. Now, just go into the back. So that's the flour that we're going to use. As long as it's strong bread flour, you can use what you want. You can use wholemeal, anything you like, as long as it's strong bread flour. So that's the bread we're going to be using. Right, just in there guys, that is 350 ml of warm water. It's got to be warm to activate the yeast. Now, when I say 350 ml, it's a little bit hit and miss on that one guys, because what you have to do is sort of just gauge it when you're mixing your dough up. Just sort of gauge it. You don't want it to be too sort of sticky and horrible, so just put sort of 300 ml in and then sort of gauge it. Again, because we've got the cheese and the onion into it, you're probably going to need less. So there's our bowl of flour. Now in there guys is 500 grams of the flour. So that is the ingredients we're going to be using guys. Right, so let's just turn around to here. Don't look at the bottle of gin that's nearly been drunk. So that is our slow cooker. That's a no frills slow cooker. Now that has to be run at maximum power on there when we do it. And what I've done guys, let me just take the top off. So in there we've put some greaseproof paper. Now that is so when the bread's done we can just lift it out. And I'm just going to slightly sort of rub that with a little bit of olive oil or something, just to stop the bread sticking. So that's what we're going to be doing in there. Now it's going to take anything up to 2 to 3 hours to cook. So it's just a little bit hit or miss on that. It's just a matter of gauging it. Now one thing I will say, and you'll probably see it towards the end, it will not brown, because there's no, as in the oven, it can brown the top, so it won't actually brown. But you could, if you wanted to, shove it under a grill or in a hot oven to brown the top. What I've done in the past guys when I've made it is made it to coincide with the Sunday lunch, and then it just goes in the oven for 10 or 15 minutes after the Sunday joint comes out to brown the top. Anyway guys, that's ingredients. Now I'm not going to show you all the mixing because I get pretty mucky. So what I'm going to do is chuck all them ingredients in the pan, as it were, in the pot, and give it a mix, and then I'll bring you back guys. So guys, there's all the dry ingredients in the bowl. So I just chucked them in and then just mixed them lightly with a fork. So guys, all the dry ingredients are in the bowl, and I just sort of lightly mixed it with a fork. So the next thing we're going to do now guys is, I'm just going to swap hands. We're now going to introduce the water, but we're not going to put it all in at once guys. We're just going to be a little bit sparing and just keep adding it, because we don't want the dough to be too sticky. So we probably won't use the whole 350 ml, but you know, depends on the flour, but we definitely won't use a whole 350 ml. That's got to be lukewarm, not hot, because that'll destroy the yeast. And as for the kneading process, guys, well, we're going to knead it for about 5 minutes, nothing more. And as with normal traditional bread or traditional bread making, you then put it to one side in a warm room or an airing cupboard, something like that, to proof, and then you'd knock it back and redo it again. But we're not going to do any of that. It's very, very simple. Basically, as I said, it's going to knead it for about 5 minutes, bung it in the slow cooker, and the slow cooker will be cold. I'm not going to preheat the slow cooker or anything, guys. And then what we're going to do, as the slow cooker warms up, that in effect is proofing the dough, so it will start to expand in size. But we'll see all that during the process of making this video. So I'm just going to get and chuck the water into the mix, as it were. Now this is where it gets a bit mucky, so I'm not going to show you any of that, because the camera and the phone's going to get pretty mucky with sticky dough. So I'm going to get it all mixed together, guys, and I'll bring you back when that's all ready to go. So guys, that's it lightly mixed in the bowl. So what we've got to do now is just chuck it out onto a lightly floured board there and knead it for about 5 minutes. So guys, I'm going to attempt to show you the kneading process. It's going to be quite difficult as I'm doing it one-handed, but basically we're going to grab the ball of dough here, and we just pull this sort of over onto itself like that, yeah, and then we go the other way, and we just basically just keep rolling the outside into the center, guys. It's a little bit sticky actually, this one, but that's basically the kneading process, guys. So it's about 5 minutes. So guys, there's the bread dough. So that's now been kneaded for probably about 5 minutes, and I've sort of roughly shaped it into the same same shape as the inside of the slow cooker. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to take some of this and just lightly spray the greaseproof paper that's inside the slow cooker. Now, as I said, the reason we got the greaseproof paper in that is so that you can actually pick up the finished bread when it's done, because obviously it's going to be very, very hot. So that's what we've done that for. Now, in occasions, in certain places, it will actually stick to the greaseproof paper, but that's not a biggie, because even if you have a little bit of paper in your bread, it's not going to matter. But there's the dough sort of been kneaded, so I'm now going to chuck it in the slow cooker and let's get cooking. So guys, there you are, it's sat in the slow cooker. So we're just going to bung the lid on and turn the slow cooker on, which is right at the back there. So that's the slow cooker on. So all we're going to do with this one, guys, I'm going to put it on low for probably about half an hour. So guys, as I said, I'm going to put it on low for about half an hour, and that'll just gently sort of start the cooking process. And then after about half an hour, I'm going to sort of whack it up to high. Not sure how long we're going to leave this one for. It does vary. I mean, a couple of hours, maybe more, maybe less. We're just going to keep sort of looking at it and testing it, and you can knock it to actually see if it's got that hollow sound. But for a minute, guys, it's going to sit in the slow cooker now for probably about half an hour, and I'll bring you back then, and we'll just see how is it actually, if it's rising at all or anything's actually happening. So I've now got to do the washing up and clear everything away. So we'll see you shortly. So folks, let's go and check on how the bread's doing. So that's been in there for now about half an hour on low. So let's check and see what it looks like. So there you go, guys. It looks like it's doubled in size. Now I'm just going to take the top off the slow cooker. Now what you're going to get, you're going to get a bit of condensation on the lid, guys, but I just wipe that off with a bit of kitchen roll. So there you go, guys. That is now doubled in size. It's a little bit sticky, but that's why we put the oil or olive oil on the paper. But there you go, guys. So that's doubled in size. So I'm just going to wipe the moisture off that, stop it dripping on the bread, guys. But there we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the lid back on again. Oop, without dropping it. So there goes the lid, and we're now going to wind that up now to full power, and we're going to check on it in probably about another another hour or so. So catch you later on, guys. So folks, here we are with another bread update. So I think we've been in for another hour or so. So let's take the top off. Now obviously when you take the top off the slow cooker, it will lose a little bit of heat, so we don't do it for too long. But are we ready for this one, guys? So here we go. So that's been in there about another hour from the last video I think I did, or thereabouts, just roughly. So as you can see, it's getting rather large now. It's beginning to get a little bit of colour on it, guys, but not too much. So I don't know how much longer we're going to need to leave it. So at the minute it is, what's the time now? It's just gone, what's the time? It's about 3 o'clock, isn't it? No, yeah, about 3 o'clock. Nearly half three at the minute, guys. So we started that at about 1, I think. I can't remember, to be honest. I didn't look. But there's no real sort of hard and fast rules. Just leave it until it's cooked. Anyway, guys, I'll bring you back when there's a little bit more to show. So, folks, I've taken the bread out of the slow cooker, and we had a little bit of a disaster. So let me just turn you around, and you can see what I mean. So there you are, guys. The top sunk a little bit. Nothing too major, but the top sunk a bit. I think it's because when I was doing the filming, I think I left the top off the slow cooker too much and it cooled down a bit. But other than that, it doesn't look too bad. So what we're going to do now, guys, is just shove it in the oven for 10 or 15, 20 minutes or so, just to brown the top off. As I said, it is sort of sunk a bit, but I'm sure it'll taste all right. So folks, the bread is now out of the oven. It's been in there for about 15 minutes, just sort of browning the top. So, do you want to take a look at it? So there you go, guys. That's the finished product. It's literally at the oven now. It's still piping hot. As you can see, the middle's sunk a little bit. Now, I've been making bread with this method now for several months. And this is probably my 10th or 12th loaf. And that is the first time it's ever sunk like that. So I think it's probably when I taken the top off the slow cooker to make the YouTube video. It probably, that sort of quick change in temperature made the middle sink. But there you go, guys, that's the loaf. I have had them turn out a little bit better, but it doesn't matter what it looks like, it's what it tastes like. So what we'll do is give that probably a couple of hour to cool down, if we can wait that long, and then we'll cut into it and give it a try. So guys, the bread's been out the oven for a couple of hours, so I think it's time we took a look at it. So guys, there you go. That's nice and cool now, and I think that we should have a slice or two and see what it's like. So guys, we're now going to take a slice of it, so we'll have the crust, so I reckon about there. It looks and sounds like a proper piece of bread. Oh, so here you go, guys. Still quite warm actually, but here's all the bits of onion. So now put that to one side. I'm going to butter this and share it with the cameraman. So Karen's on the camera at the minute, so we're going to share that with, we'll cut it in half and share it with Karen and see what it's like. So, although it's sunk in the middle, I think we can allow us to have a little bit more butter, don't you guys? So I think although it's sunk in the middle, I don't think it's going to affect the taste in any way. So I'm going to have half and Karen's going to have half. Right, so there we go. I think that's another success. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. Lovely jubbly. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. I urge you to try this out. It's a bit of a faff, but makes lovely bread. Cheers, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.